Hi, hello. So, why are you sliding? Today is the start of SUMMERWEEN, which I am so incredibly excited for. I am way too excited for this readathon. I have actually already started a little bit. So last night it was about midnight and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do a little bit of reading early. One of the books that I had picked for my TBR this week was Shiver. What I did last night was, as I went to bed, turned off all the lights, grabbed a flashlight, and just read the first story in here. The first story was Used Record, which I enjoyed it. It was creepy, it was weird, it was strange. It was not what I was expecting when I was going into this. And then when it comes to my other reads for this month, I wasn't sure what I wanted to start first. I made everybody vote, so the one that won was Winterwood. This is the same writer of The Wicked Deep, which I have read and loved. They're just very simple, straightforward standalones. I'm very excited about this one. It's another witchy, weird tale, so I think it's going to be really good. So I plan on trying to pick up the audiobook for that today and seeing how far I can get to it. If I could finish this today, I don't see that happening, but I'm going to try.
Why can't you just let me eat my weight in glee? I live inside my own world of make-believe. Kids screaming in their cradles, profanities.
I am a little over 100 pages into Winterwood. It's just as creepy and weird as Wicked Deep was. I'm excited to see if it kind of does the weird like flip on its head. What you think is happening is not actually what's happening. That happened with Wicked Deep. I'm really liking it. It definitely has some creepy vibes right now, and you're questioning absolutely everything. I have no idea what characters to trust. I have no idea who's telling the truth and who's lying. We're kind of seeing between both of them trying to figure things out. Oliver trying to get his memory back, as well as Nora trying to figure out what is going on. Why Oliver doesn't have his memory and why he's alive. I've got probably, I think, a little over 3 hours left of the audiobook. If I can get through this today, that would be ideal. Hello, good morning. It is Tuesday. I have a very long day at work today, so I'm not going to be able to update you guys very much until later tonight. So I figured I'd do a quick update on where my reading is real quick before I have to go finish getting ready. I got 2 more stories read in Shiver, and I enjoyed both of them a lot. The second story was Shiver, really weird, very creepy, makes your skin feel crawly and itchy and strange. And then the next story, which was Fashion Model, probably my favorite so far in the story. It stuck with me after reading it. It definitely was like one of those ones that just kind of sticks in your head and you're constantly thinking about it. So that one's probably my favorite here so far, but I will continue more of this tonight. And then I had gotten a lot through Winterwood last night, and then decided to finish up the last probably about an hour that I had left this morning. So I just finished this like 2 seconds ago, and I really loved it. It was really good and very dark and weird, and just, I don't know, something about Shea Earnshaw's books are just they just have a very strong feeling behind them. This definitely ended a lot more upbeat than her last story did. I really loved this. And then I ended up doing a poll on Instagram again to see between the next 2 reads which one to start first. And at the moment that I'm looking at it, it looks like the winner is going to be Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. I am both nervous and excited to read this. I've heard nothing but good things about this book. I've only read Final Girls by Riley Sager and didn't love it. So I'm nervous, but I'm excited.
But that's alright. Hush.
Good morning. So, the ones that I read last night were Hanging Blimp and Marionette Mansion. So Hanging Blimp was fine. I didn't really like it. At least with the other ones, I could kind of feel a reasoning for the story happening. Even if things are weird and you're like, why and how? But I still kind of felt like they were more realistic. This one felt too out there for me. And then Marionette Mansion, I enjoyed that one a little bit. It wasn't my favorite. I think so far, Fashion Model's definitely been my favorite, and I think Shiver might be my second favorite so far in the stories. I think I still have 4 more that I have to get through, so I'm hoping to maybe finish that tonight. And then yesterday I started Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. I did not get very far in it though. I only ended up reading maybe 10 minutes into the audiobook because I couldn't bring myself to read yesterday. I was too exhausted. The little bit that I am reading, I have enjoyed it so far, so hoping to get through more of that today as well. Okay, So, picked up some Starbucks on the way home from work because they have the new kiwi related refresher, which is delicious, by the way. If you like sour and fruity drinks, it's very, very good. I personally like the Star drink because I like the coconut milk and the refreshers more. Got it because I had a free drink. One, free drink is always good, but it also kind of matches what I'm reading right now. So we're using that for photos in the future. I have no reading update right now because I have been at work, so I haven't read anything. So I'm gonna try and get a little bit of the audiobook for Home Before Dark read here in a little bit. I have more readathons that popped up that I'm gonna try and do in these next couple of months. So my plan is to go through and figure out my TBR for each of those, and I like doing that while I'm listening to audiobooks. So today is Thursday. I'm not even gonna bring up Home Before Dark because I did not read pretty much any of that. I think I read the smallest chunk of that yesterday. I finished Shiver last night. Decided just to power through the last 4.5 stories that I had left and really enjoyed it. I'm probably gonna be giving this 5 stars. My last story that I had talked about was Marionette Mansion. The next story that was after that was The Painter. I'm pretty sure this is a story that is the first chapter in the manga Tomi, but this was really interesting. It's definitely one that if that is a full story based around her, then I'm definitely more intrigued by that concept than just sticking with this short story, because while the short story is good, it definitely, the end is what I liked and I wanted more. After that was The Long Dream, which is a very strange one, but one that I actually really enjoyed the concept for. And the ending I was really intrigued by, though it ends very abruptly. I would definitely read like an entire book following this concept if it went more in depth with it. And then after that, Honored Ancestors is our next story. This one was good, but it wasn't great. It was definitely probably one of my least favorites in here. It definitely went in a direction I was not expecting. Honestly, the story as a whole I wasn't a huge fan of, but there were panels and the art that I really liked. I loved the imagery of it and I thought it was really creepy and strange and I really liked that. And then we get to the next story, the final main story, which is Greased. I hate this story. It's not that I necessarily didn't like the story, it's more how I felt while reading the story. This story is definitely the grossest story in this entire anthology in my opinion. That could just be me. To most people probably the gore and some of the other ones would be worse. I felt like physically nauseous while reading the story. Did not like it. Made me uncomfortable. Was not a fan. But because it made me feel that way, that makes me like, it makes me not like the story, but it makes me like the story. You know what I mean? Greased is one that I never want to touch again. Like, I'm glad I read it the first time, but I could deal with never coming back to that story ever again in my life. After that, that is the final like main story that's in this, but we do get a bonus story, which I got very excited about because it focuses on Fashion Model, which is my favorite story in this entire anthology, which I mentioned earlier, and it still is, even though I'm done with this, that is still my favorite story, and we got a little bit more, and I loved it. I'm so incredibly tired, but I thought I'd throw this clip in here real quick. I got about halfway into Home Before Dark. I'm enjoying it, but kind of iffy. We'll see how it goes and how it continues with the rest of the story, but I'm tired, so we're gonna do that tomorrow. It is Friday. It is 10 o'clock at night. We went out to the bookstore because there was a specific book that I needed to pick up for next month, as well as picked up some Chipotle for dinner, and then came home and ended up watching Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, as well as, I'm forgetting the title of the new one, but the new one just came out today, so we really wanted to sit down and watch that. We had watched Excellent Adventure, I think a couple weeks ago, just getting excited once some of the trailers were dropping for the new one. Decided that we needed to watch Bogus Journey and then the new one, and it was actually really good. I liked the new one a lot. It has a lot of really funny moments and it definitely fits in this trilogy of movies. So I've got about 2.5 hours of the audiobook left, so my hope is to finish that tonight. But like I said, it's 10 o'clock, so I don't know how that's gonna go, but hoping for the best. It's gonna be good. We're gonna stay positive, aren't we? We gotta stay positive.
Take my eyes open to force reality.
Hello, it is Saturday. I, as you can tell, I'm still getting ready for the day. Just wanted to do kind of a quick update on a couple of things. I completed a challenge. I finished Home Before Dark last night. I enjoyed it. I definitely liked this more than Final Girls. I enjoyed this a lot more than Final Girls because I actually liked some of the characters. I also I didn't like some of the ending. I think if there's a way I can talk about this without spoiling it, and I honestly don't think there is. So if you don't want to be spoiled for Home Before Dark, skip a little bit because there's no way I can talk about my feelings on this without talking about spoilers. I think my main issues with this and the ending were just, you're built up this entire time thinking that this house is haunted, figure out these mysteries from two different perspectives. You're following Maggie and her experience with the house, as well as going into the past and kind of following her father, but it's supposed to be just chapters from the book. So you do get those scenes where like everything's haunted, and I think I enjoyed that more. I wanted that. That's what I went into this hoping for, was for a haunted house, spooky book. It ended up just kind of throwing itself in the end, being like, oh, well, it wasn't real, so none of it was real. None of that actually happened. I mean, I guess I get that. I get the twist of it, but I wanted it to be paranormal. I think that's what made me so disappointed, is just because I wanted this to actually be paranormal, and it wasn't. I have no idea what I'm going to rate this. Probably 3 stars at this point. I'm going to go finish getting ready and film, so I don't know how long it's going to take because I have very many things I need to film, and it's going to take a while. Once I get all of that done for the day, my goal is to pick up my best friend's exorcism and try and get through that. Between today and tomorrow, I should be able to.
Some days I feel skinnier than all the others.
It's Sunday, last day of the readathon, and I am still not done with my last book. To update though, I did get a good chunk into my best friend's exorcism yesterday. I got about 200 pages in. I think I've got less than 2 hours left of the audiobook, so I should be able to easily finish this. Unfortunately, I do have work, so I have to wait until I get home later to actually finish this. It is Monday, so the readathon ended yesterday, but I never got the chance to do a final update last night because I was reading so late into the night that I ended up just going to sleep after I finished reading. Now we can do a final kind of rundown of all the prompts that I finished. We're going to start with the book that I finished last night, of course, which was My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix. I actually really enjoyed this. I had a good time reading this. It was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed this. It started out really strong, and then it kind of got slow in the middle for me, and I was a little worried about where it was going to go. But then towards the end, it started just getting absolutely insane once everything started really happening, and I was enjoying every second of it. When it gets down to the actual exorcism, that entire scene was insane and intense and just a lot of fun. 2 things that I kept hearing in a lot of the reviews was just like, 1, there's a really creepy, disgusting part that's going to come up, and 2, a lot of people were saying they were tearing up at the end, and I was just waiting for those 2 moments. And the creepy scene, I think I know what everybody's talking about, and it didn't freak me out quite as much. I don't know if knowing about it changed my mind on that, or if I'm desensitized from watching a ton of horror movies. The tearing up part was actually true for me. I was not expecting to feel so emotional during the exorcism scene. It definitely got me. I was tearing up. This completed the prompt for a book recommended by the hosts. And then just to kind of go through down the line, finished Home Before Dark, which completes the haunted house prompt. I finished Winterwood, which completed the paranormal / supernatural prompt, and then I completed Shiver, which completed the creepy cover and also a book I read completely in the dark. Those are all the books that I read for Summerween. I can't believe Summerween is over. I had such a fun time getting through all these books. I can't believe I was able to get through all of them. I hope you guys enjoy whatever comes up of this vlog, and I will see you guys next time.
Might as well just ride around the nursery and count sheep.